to get together and say, okay, $18,000 a year on shipping, what is that covering? Like for us as a board to understand and look deeper into what does operating supplies cover exactly, right? Like looking at it deeper, what is negative about doing that? I guess it just takes people's time. And to me, I think that's the biggest thing is that when you look deeper into something, it's going to take time, but how will things ever?
So if you'll allow me to address some of your questions there too. As we're looking at that proposed budget, voluntary spending by the library is $373,000. Everything else that you're seeing there is insurance, benefits, wages. So that $250,000, if you're not looking to fire 80% of the staff, means you're dropping the library's budget down to $120,000. If you're just looking at spending that we do, as library staff for materials, services, programming, something to consider. Yes, that amount is large. Wages increase, we have a large number of staff, this is a big building, it requires a lot of upkeep, maintenance, and those folks weren't pay increases just like everybody else does. They work hard, they do a good job. You do receive itemized every invoice that comes in. You have the opportunity now to review in whatever detail you wish what is being purchased, when it's being purchased. It's not, you're making it sound right now as though it's something we would gain from doing this. And it wouldn't change. You're already receiving every single invoice that the library deals with. So you are seeing every item that we purchase. If you guys feel you need further oversight, please continue. I want to state very clearly that all of those items that are being purchased are being sent to you guys to review.
Yeah, I don't think that's what I was talking about. I was talking about like the bigger numbers, like saying, okay, materials,
well, those are made
try
up
to
of
only
those individual invoices. So a whole year's worth of supplies is every Baker Taylor invoice, every roll of toilet paper.
So the question is do we need to be ordering books every single month? Like, I have that question. I wonder, is that an absolute necessity, or can we order quarterly and be able to keep our second chance books on a display longer, or keep, can we do things differently and
so for an item to hit that display, right, it's not just that it hasn't, it's been a couple weeks. That item's gone 5 years without circulating before it hits a reading report and is considered to go out of the building. 5 years no circulation. A single circulation from any individual saves you from a reading report. So yes, at some point, even popular items do kind of wax and wane. The beginning of their life, you have a ton of circulations, and then as time goes on and interests change, you just see a little bit less of those. It doesn't mean we can't do more to try to prolong the life of those materials, but you would be hard pressed to find any library with an active budget and library patrons who would be accepting of, well, we're not buying the bestsellers for the next 3 months because we only buy for a quarter, so you're going to have to wait 5 months. That changes that workflow. With one person doing cataloging, preparing items and getting those out on the shelf, let me tell you, it takes quite a bit. The plan is then to stop, buy them all at once, and then say, okay, Cindy, now you have to process 3 months worth of books and get those out to folks who are asking for things constantly. Those requests happen. The new shelf, as we've discussed in the past, is where items circulate most heavily and most readily. That is what adult readers are coming in for. Children, it's very different. Anything that is out there, they will go find. But the adults here in town, that is their first stop every time they come in. If they are active readers, they're going to the new shelf to see what has just hit the shelf. And people will be cross with you if the new James Patterson book isn't on the shelf, even if it's in the back. It's catalog. I'm not kidding with you. I've had interactions with folks who are like, yeah, that came out a week and a half. Why can't I grab it?
Yeah, I totally hear you, Ian, and that's understandable for sure. And I see exactly why you would order monthly.
just because I'm a numbers person, when you look at your 25 year-to-date actuals, that column, okay, you're seeing that what the actuals are, correct?
At 6 months, right?
Yeah.
That was June 30th.
Correct.
Right?
So then you're looking at the then just jump over 2 columns and you're looking at the budget. The budget is what was approved. Okay, so we estimate what we believe is going to come in and how it's gonna balance. They give you the actuals for 6 months. The middle column, which is annualized, which means taking the 6 months and thinking we're going to get the same amount or up to the budget amount, this is where we're going to end up. So 23,000 to the good. But you see that the amount from the transfers in from either 0.5% and or interest revenue is not included, because we believe the income that's coming in is going to cover the expenses that's over there. The budget is just estimating that if you would come in low, this is what you would need to do. We would never want to estimate our revenues higher than years before unless we actually had something that came to us that said, you're going to increase 14%. You can guarantee that. Other than that, we're very conservative. We use what we have for sales tax or interest revenue off of our accounts to balance what we need to balance with. But with the actuals and the annualized, that money is not even being used because your income is coming in more than what we budgeted for in those areas. So we predict that you're gonna come in over the budget in revenues and you're not gonna need to transfer in. That's why we never transfer anything in until the very, very, very end. If the bookmobile would go down and we need a new motor, we would have some extra money there because we budget for it, which we got approved from the governing body. If we would need money, we would say, okay, they're coming in good with their budget, but we did budget 250,000. This maintenance needs to be done. We'd like to use that money. That's how we would present to the governing board. Even though it's already been approved, this is what we would do. So I just wanted to show you that the budget, since I've been here the last 10 years, the budget has always come in very good. They've always had money extra to put into the maintenance reserve. That's how they paid for the bus coming in after so many years. That's what we did. The only reason you see a 24 with a negative is because we paid for the bus in that year, but we got grant money to reimburse it back in 25. So I just wanted to explain that to you, that the board is doing a very good job in keeping within the budget, and so as the directors have been throughout the years. They've always stayed within the budget. We hardly ever transfer money in from a reserve to balance out the library budget at the end of the year, since I've been.
And since I've started, we've cut the voluntary spending of the library by about 24%. So we are also trying to save you money on the stuff that we're doing. I hear you when you say, hey, this is costing a lot. We are trying to trim.
And I think when it comes to, if we're constantly looking at over expenses, then that comes down to looking at our director and within his evaluation. And I mean, last year's evaluation we did was phenomenal. And I think that's where many of those concerns should come, in my personal opinion, especially knowing that the board made the decision to serve as oversight at the December meeting. Continue to serve as oversight.
I'll be honest, we get more invoice information here at this board meeting than I do at the city. We have a $30 million budget. Do you think I see every invoice for Staples and Amazon? I mean, it would take 10 years for us to go through that between every meeting. I mean, and that's a $30 million budget. I mean,
It doesn't mean that we can't question and ask why the bills get paid before we approve them. I'm gonna go back to that piece.
will the bills be paid in a timely manner? There's bills at the city that get paid before they come to the city commission too. Because that's why we approve a budget. That's why there's a budget, unless they're over budget, or are you worried about some impropriety in the numbers? Because the city and the library gets audited every year also.
Yeah,
So-
I understand that.
So what are we worried about, that the MDU bill got paid 2 weeks before we met? I'm trying to understand.
And even if it is a utility bill, never had this happen in where I came from in city policies, but here, if that bill's late, we get charged a late fee.
I agree, yes, and I was going to do it.
We don't get any exceptions being the city, even though they should be giving us 30 days, but it's not in North Dakota state law, so, they can charge us that fee.
Yeah, they do.
So we do pay those, just like Commissioner Frederick said, we do pay some of those utility bills ahead before they even see them, but they get to see that that check was made out.
So we'll just continue doing what you guys wanna do. We'll continue paying the bills before we get to see any of them. They'll just be paid. That's what you guys wanna do, right?
I mean, you can make a motion, but like I said, that was kind of what we
You're
did
right,
too
I
in
can make a
December.
motion, but I know what that will, where that will go. So I addressed it, and I'll probably bring it back up.
Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, that takes us to the bottom of our agenda. Next regular meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, October 8th. Before we leave, Ian, groundbreaking, I know I saw that went out on social media.
Yes.
Do you want to extend an invite to the board and anyone else wanting to
Yes,
come?
please do. On September 16th at 3:30, there will be a groundbreaking ceremony for the expansion. City leadership will be there. I would love to see any library board members who wish to attend. Troy is going to be speaking on the library's behalf. The Library Foundation will be there speaking, so we would love to see you if you care to be there.
All right, with that, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So,
All right,
yeah.
we'll see you all in October.